use of knowledge in the organisation. So those are the 5 criteria that were sent to last year. So if we could just move on more. That's why we've chosen these 2 topics, because they're pretty much centre stage. So this one is going to be looking at demonstrating the positive impact of library knowledge services. The second one happening in May, we're demonstrating that library knowledge services are developed to support information provision for patients and for the public. And that will be hosted by Caroline Reagan, who's been heavily involved in that. So that will be running for the library assistants and paraprofessionals, and then it will be running for the areas. And then after that, the next slide, please. It's the great unknown. Topics from August onwards, so August for librarians, it will be choice. So let us know what topics you want to explore. This is an opportunity also for people to have a go presenting with WebExes. So I've had great help from Natalie and Chloe, who's recently joined us up in Gloucester there. They're getting used to facilitating and presenting with WebExes. And it's a useful skill to have the ability, because you might know when you might want to be using your WebEx session to be linking with your colleagues. So give us what you might like to see as things goes on. Right, so what is impact? And this is where we're going to throw it into you guys to ask what your thoughts are on impact. At the moment, I'd really like to hear what you think impact is. So if you'd like to contribute, please raise your hand there in cyberspace. That will unmute you, and you can let us know what your thoughts are. And please don't be there. There are no right or wrong answers at this stage. We generally, what do you think of as the impact? So, go into NHS.
Anybody have anything they want to mention? Can I see your hand is raised?
Yeah, guys, you might be aware of a little incident that's kind of ongoing in Salisbury at the moment. You might have heard it in the news. A few weeks ago, I was a bit stressed when I was here on my own. A consultant wanted very urgently an article on treatment of people with nerve agent poisoning. And the impact of that was it kind of worked, because they get that.
Been charged. Well done, Jenny.
Now, to say, I've just had a message from Lucy and Beverly. Are you still having sound issues? I think BH may be having a few sound issues.
Hi, Lee.
Hello.
Hi. It's okay when you're speaking. It's more of an issue with John.
Right.
Okay.
I'll hold the phone closer to my mouth. Is that better?
I'll let you know.
Okay, right. So.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Angie Layton, do you have a question for us or a comment for us?
No, sorry. I
No,
put my hand down from when
no.
all right. Apologies,
No problem,
sorry.
no problem. Karen.
Okay, so my thing was, in terms of what is impact, now, to me is that we make it somewhere. So that one service that we do enables somebody to do their job better. That to me is impact. But I'm not sure if that's wide enough view of it. What do people think?
Very, very much indeed, Catherine. Thank you for that. I think with that one, we will move on to the next slide, because it's almost like you've been paid to say that.
I have got Rebecca. Rebecca, do you have something you'd like to add as well?
Let's have Rebecca first. Yeah.
I'm muting myself. Yeah, it was just a little bit on sort of like the panel impact, like impacting the individual. It's more of a brag. I've just been given this morning a keyring by some of our ODP students for helping them so much.
Oh.
And it's their faces on it, which is...
That's lovely.
Isn't that sweet? Just thought, but then that's what my impact as a librarian is the difference to those individuals, so that they feel the need to be so nice and thank me.
Lovely.
This is all leading beautifully into what we're about to have a look at.
Hey, John.
Indeed. So thank you all. Thank you. We could move this on a slide. Natalie. The great, and press the button again. So there is a need definition of what is impact in terms of library service. There is a British standard. An impact as the difference or change in an individual or group result from their contact with library services. The exactly what you say. It's demonstrating difference. That the difference or change in individual behaviour, service, whatever. That is when we can start to talk about impact. You can have the next slide, and buttons and the 4 things will appear. Thank you. So, an awful lot of feedback in library service. We get people, at the desk all the time. Oh, thank you. That was really helpful. But that is feedback. That's not really impact. That just demonstrates that they've been brought up properly, mum and dad, and been told to say thank you, which is lovely. But we kind of need to move it on to the next level, if you like. So what we want is a thank you. That's really helpful and has helped inform my practice. So the more we can use these details, the next one that's just arrived there. Thank you. That's really helpful and has helped inform my practice. We've used the information to update our clinical guidelines. Now we're getting into turning feedback into impact, which is really useful. That's the holy grail there at the end. Thank you. That was really helpful and inform my practice. Use the information to update our clinical guideline, and we no longer administer X that way. It saves quite a bit of time and speeded up the process. So getting from the first point there to the fourth point, and very often we can help tease out from our users. The great thing is we don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's a lot of really useful stuff out already. Is to move on one. Examples of impact. Improve efficiency. Were there any cost savings that will make us very popular with our paymasters at the moment? In a change in practice? Was there a product created or a new service or a guideline or a pathway? Has there been a training need addressed? Did it raise the library services? Never a bad thing, never a bad. Has recent usage? Have new partnerships been established? That's a big deal at the moment with EP footprints and care pathways and all that kind of thing, to show that we're aware of the bigger picture and we're working across boundaries to revert the NHS. So next one. The thing is, there are lots and lots of tools readily available. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. There is stuff out there that we can use to demonstrate. And then captured nationally, and I'm going to show you some of the things that are available to use already. Now, this is a nice example from Gloucester. The librarian undertook a literature search and gathered policies from other NHS organisations to support the evidence base for scalp cooling treatment in relation to cancer. Myths associated with the procedure, the introduction of a scalp cooling within the organisation. Patients no longer have to travel outside the county to receive this treatment. Really nice local example. Chloe, are you able to give us a little bit?
Can you, John?
Lovely.
Oh, hi there. Hello. Yeah, I mean, Rebecca could probably comment on this as well. When we do literature searches, every so often Lisa will go through them. That's our library manager. Look, selects them that she thinks may be useful to speak to the person that's asked for it. And this is the outcome of one of our literature searches. Like you said, it was cost saving because now they don't have to go out to the county. Don't know if you have anything else to add, Rebecca?
Well, Tracy Cullen, who requested at the matron, he made a request. She was voted for one of the local awards that the public can vote for, and it's all tied into this scalp cooling and the progress that she's made with the oncology department. So it's had a really major impact.
Mm-hmm. And it's got stemmed from a literature search, the working relationship with a matron, with a nurse, doing a literature search, and then the whole thing has had wings and really taken off. Hasn't it?
It has indeed, yeah.
Which is great. Wonderful. Thank you, folks. If we move on. Another literature search. We have a procedure of sending out surveys to evaluate the impact of literature searches every month. So it kind of follows on from what Chloe and Rebecca there were just saying. Looking at the searches that have been done and then getting back to people to ask them if are the actual impact and changes that made on. We ask questions about how much time the service is likely to save. Responses to see if it might be appropriate to deliver a follow-up. A nice one, I think, coming up from Berkshire. If we can have the next one. Yeah, one from Berkshire. Avoiding unnecessary delay in the prescriptions of clozapine in accordance with my guidelines. do with diabetes and patients. The library provided evidence for the cost-benefit, cost-effectiveness, and risk-benefit of clozapine compared to alternative antipsychotics in changes to local practice. And this was a literature search which has grown into a lot more. Do we have anybody on the session who knows a little bit more background on this one? No.
Hi, Barbara. I don't think she's actually on the session.
Actually, that's fine. We've got one final example. And this is one that I brought in from my own service from Southmead. And I brought this in because we tends to be the librarians who get the glory with service changes and all that sort of thing. And here's just reminding folks that our whole service is an important part of it. So this is big document delivery, if you like. We've done literature searches and papers have been provided on specific SEPT ultrasound abnormality with service. The vital in helping keeping the NHS guidelines up to date in our department and the detection rate based on new research. So you know, the bog standard stuff might get a little bit overlooked sometimes, but document delivery to inform practice is a really important part of it. And you know, we need to make sure that we are bringing our paraprofessional colleagues on board as well. Next slide. So, as I say, there are all sorts of wonderful tools out there that we can use to be demonstrated. And we're going to look at some of these now. We're going to have a look at value and impact toolkit first. So now to take us on, because there are templates for questionnaires to use and to capture case studies on there. So we're just going to have a look at the actual website itself.
So as you can now all see a presentation. And John, do you want me to
go along to you've got the value and impact toolkit tabs and separate tabs. That's one.
Lovely.
That's one. So there, this is a knowledge for healthcare value and impact toolkit. So there's all sorts of things in there that we can do. So if you scroll down a little bit further, and you'll see the hyperlink there in the first paragraph there for case study template. So you text the case study template.
Just find that. Have I scrolled?
Back up the screen a little.
There.
The first paragraph.
Clicking on that, so hopefully it'll open up.
So there's a whole range of stuff in there that you can use. And then you see the bread trail just below where it says case study template. So just putting that. And in the breadcrumb trail, if you can click the one that says tool next door to reference. So first, underneath introduction.
With me.
That one. And I won't demo all of these for you, but just to let you know what is there. There's a whole range of tools available. So just scroll down there. So some you may not be familiar with: the balance forecast, the logic model, the hospital library tool. Yeah, that's what you can't be screen for. There's lots of stuff in there. So don't feel you need to reinvent the tool, real world rather. If you're wanting to go about starting to capture samples of value and impact, then there's loads of stuff on here that can be built into. And it doesn't quite suit your needs. There's nothing there you can't. Got a second tab open, a browsing tab open at the top there with some examples of our impact. That's the one next to the one you're open.
Guys, bear with me, guys. We will get there, I promise.
Just to the one you're open. Examples of our impact.
Hover my little
that one.
My desktop, it's just hovering above. If you guys can just bear with me, I just need to tweak my own desktop a moment.
This is unclean with you folks.
It's going slightly wrong. My tab's hidden because I'm going to stop sharing a moment so that I can actually find this link. With me.
Take us through to the database of impact case studies. The nice thing with the database of impact case studies is you can sort them by region, you can sort them by type, you can sort them by type of service. There's also there we go. In the something of our impact. So there is the database there. So scroll down for me. And there's a couple of those examples of the Million Decisions logo on there, which should look very familiar already. We've looked at some of those examples. But there are all sorts of examples that have been forwarded in. So yeah, if you click on the database can be searched here, click that one for me. And this is where you can actually search the database. So there's also different ways of doing it. This one, I think, you've got the option there to type matters. Right. If you type, and let's have it improve the quality of patient care. From across NHS England, examples of impact studies that have improved the quality of patient care. And you see there's stuff from all the places. There's stuff there from North, stuff there from Hampshire, Sussex, and so on. And a room, so there's public health, there's acute, there's mental health. To view the full thing, I won't do it in a moment, but on the right-hand side there, you'll see there's a little option there for the document. You click that, it will take you into the full case study itself. To give you right, go to a new search. It should just take us back just one page. By organisation. So we're going to look. So we're looking at Berkshire earlier. Let's go into Berkshire. So just type in Berkshire. Right, Berkshire have been pretty busy. So again, you've got stuff from across there. Treatments for narcissistic personality disorders and mental health examples. And it gives, I think, 8 or 10 per page. So if there's more than 10, it'll go on to the next page. Love. Just back. Search by sector. So sector bottom right there. Let's have a look by mental health. Lovely. So mental health again from across the country. Memory boxes, reading patients, reading challenge, 2017 from AWP from a local partner. Scroll to the bottom of the page now. You will take, so when there is more than 10 examples, it takes you onto a second page. So if it's being done, you're not necessarily by the neighbours, but from a similar sector, you can look at it by particular sector. And the last one we'll look at, is just take it back again. We'll have a look at region. So the option, let's do Thames Valley, and Western. And you can pull everything that's been submitted by Oaks within Thames Valley. So this you can see what the neighbourhood is. And again, a full document there on the right hand side. Well, just click there just to give us an idea as to how that works. So you can get the case study as it is. So, the tools out there, some of these you can use as examples for inspiration. But then once you've got your impact, what do you want to do? Well, we want to shout about it. We want to shout about it. What we're going to do is just finish up by looking at some examples that went along to either the workshops in Winchester, Taunton, in December of last year. You will have seen some of the work that Victoria Treadway and Tracy Pratt. We're going to dive in and have a little look at some of the examples of shouting about your impact they demonstrate. Sometimes we can be a little bit backwards forward and putting up a pattern in the library, which is kind of pretty converted. So look at those. So full screen, I think, by the arrows. Yeah. And then mark if it's just an arrow button to the right. So. The green one. Oh, beginning of the presentation. Sorry.
Apologies.
Right. With it, once you get to section 5, just whiz through this very quickly.
Right. Spirits.
Sterling job there.
Okay, section 5.
That's lovely. So just take us on one at a time to have a look about ways in which how you would shout about the impact. How can we shout? Okay. So yeah, examples there. Newsletters, blogs, annual reports. Write it up for a journal.
And
is something that can take on a life of its own. I've been on Twitter for many years. I'm not been a huge user of it. But BT and North Bristol Trust, but they're big Twitter users, so I started using Twitter a bit more. And the thing is that sometimes somebody will take it on board and shout it from the roof. Then using your librarian.
I just love the format of it. It's infographics, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, right. There. That's another tweet there from Wirral, training and support evidence alert. And yeah.
Insta?
In the wall, I think is the phrase. And again, it's just repackaging. So, somebody using a whiteboard there, take photographs and sending them on from that. A little bit more on Twitter.
And Tufts.
Helping patients with dementia, and in actual fact, this is probably the favourite. I think if we could all achieve this, we'd be very happy and demonstrate our impact. This is an example of impact. The results of research stopped us putting in catheters into every patient, helping us to save the best part of £2,000 per patient and improve their care. He has had the wherewithal to get this put up on all of the IT training suites, so he was reminded exactly the ways in which knowledge services will be supporting the trust. I think that's absolutely my favourite. There's a couple more before we wind up, so let's just move on a little. Oh yeah, I was using Twitter. This is one I tweeted a while ago. And again, this is just taking something that our clinical librarians have done from their 6-monthly report. Some nice little quotes from people. I just those out of the report, photo, tweeted it on, and that took on a life of its own. Our direct nursing story, all sorts of things. So you had it brave with Twitter. A couple more, I think. And then we will find it.
So we've got HS Academy of fabulous stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then I think there's a rather nice picture of a CEO.
A million decisions.
If you can be CEO, say nice things about you for the million decisions, then we're good. Lovely. So just back into the presentation, there's one final slide, I think, Natalie. So thanks for that.
Okay.
There's the final slide. So we're going to wind it up very soon to 11 o'clock. So we have 5 minutes or so for your thoughts, questions, reflections, folks. So now is the time to chip in. Probably as before, your hand up. Natalie can unmute you to make the comment. So please do join in.
Catherine, have you got a comment for us?
Well, more of a question, really. Sort of question. My out and about impact was, in my head, I always had it that I need to do a very high level. I need to get the execs and the board on side with what the library can do and get them to start promoting it. But it is very different. Your is sort of for standard users. Everybody really needs to know about this. And I think probably because my predecessor didn't believe in doing literature searches for anyone, I've had a very uphill battle trying to get people to be aware of us. So some really interesting ideas here for how we can promote it and at various different levels. Because I would say we've now got board as to what we can do, and we're having more of an impact at higher levels, but it's lower down in the trust. But also we're a bit worried because we're a small team and we do these high-level searches and they take up a hell of a lot of time. It's whether we feel that we've got, if we promote our services too much and then we're asked to do too much and we have time to do it or do it well. And we're just a little bit worried about opening the floodgates. So what people think, have they found out that they're asking to do too much, or is it all being manageable?
What you mean at NVT, since we've had our clinical librarians, we're getting on 2 years, they started, there was, I won't say nothing for them to do, it was a new service. Now, pretty much flat out all the time. So there is that there's a minor concern that you become a victim of your own success.
Rebecca, I can see that you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I think in terms of create your own back, as long as you manage people's expectations, I think that's what we've found in our team, that we do manage. We've got a lot of literature searches that we do, and Lisa is not one to shy and quiet about our successes. We do get busy, but it's not overwhelming, because if people do start putting more demand on us, we have to say, well, we are a small team. It's all about managing people. So in your promotion, yes, shout about what you're doing, but also, that on any forms you've got, it's like, we do have a week deadline for this. We do, doing that.
Managing expectations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh,
Andy, sorry, I'm cutting you off.
The original reason for my hand up was because of Twitter, because we use that, and we've been really lucky to get a new chief nurse in who loves Twitter. He has managed to bring our chief exec actually onto Twitter. Not that she tweets, but she started to read and follow things, and I can't encourage that enough. That people just, even if you're just, as people call them, just a lurker, if you just to read what other people are doing, that give you ideas about how to publicise yourself, use impact.
Thank you. Andy, you had your hand up. Is that something you'd like to share with us?
And you go back to this again. Actually, I think we may have Morag on the call. I had an interesting email exchange and conversation with Morag last week, it was, about using examples of value and impact for marketing services. Morag, are you there? Are you able to just 2 minutes on that one?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, was Angie going to say something?
I was actually, Morag. Sorry,
yeah.
I thought I was going to be unmuted, but I needed to mute myself.
Angie.
That's all right, no problem. I just wanted to reiterate what Catherine was saying. I'm the only professional in my team, and I have those concerns that make myself too useful could be a problem. But I think the way I've approached it is to be very local in the way I engage myself with people in the trust. So a lot of the stuff that we do that we can show value and impact for and are doing case studies around is to do with stuff that happens within our academy, and then any work that people specifically ask of us, obviously, for literature searches and whatever, but not over-publicising ourselves, if you know what I mean. Just sort of not going out there and saying, this is what we do, this is what we can do, blah, blah, blah. Just doing it on a drip sort of basis. Then it's manageable, because it's the work that you're doing anyway, and it's quite simple to be able to create a case study from those bits of work that you do. I hope that makes sense. That's just the way of having to approach it.
Thank you, Angie.
And does anybody else want
More
to
I was just going to say, just quickly pick up what John was saying about the marketing, the promotion of the impact case studies, and we've had 3 published, and we were thinking about it and thinking, well, it's all well them sitting on a database, but how can we actually use them to promote the library? So I sent out a question, Lib South, and got some really good feedback about what people were doing, a bit like what you've showed on the presentation.
Mm-hmm.
So things like making their own vignettes, making into posters, tweeting about the impact case studies. A lot of people use their impact case studies all the time when they visit team departmental meetings. But I guess it's I think Rebecca that said it, that you have to manage people's expectations. So it is important to impact and show what we're doing, but at the same time managing people's expectations as well. But the feedback was really helpful, so thank you. I think there are a few people that on here today that actually responded. So thank you for that.
Morag, we need to wind up in a minute, so for about 5 minutes over. Eddie, have any burning thoughts, contributions, something they need to get off their chest? Want to tip in before winding things up? You'll be very
Angie, I've got your hand up, and
no,
I've
sorry,
I've unmuted you
I'm
there.
so sorry. I'm
No,
not at this hand up down thing, aren't I?
No, try me with the mute button.
I'll into secret, Angie. I had my hand up all through a while ago. I didn't realise that.
Never mind.
Thank you all for contributing, folks. That's been terrific. There's been really interesting discussions. Recorded this. It will be available in the not too distant future on New LibGuides, which is getting very, very close to launched. So that all of the CPD stuff is going to be migrating across that. So the presentation will be available on there. The full recorded will be on there as well. And I think the one for the next one coming up, and again, it's the same topic for library assistants and librarians, is patients with public information. And then after that, it really is the wild, wild west. It's quite up to you to guide what you would like to have things around and about. And if you'd like to be involved in facilitating or presenting one, you'd be very, very, very welcome to do that. And we're happy to help build up skills. Thank you, and to Chloe for helping this happen.
Thank you, Thank you, Chloe.
Okay.
Thank you very much indeed, folks. Have an enjoyable Thursday.
Thanks for joining us. Thank you very much. Thank you
very much. Thank you. Bye.
Has left the meeting.
Thank you. Well
Has
done,
left
Jenny.
the meeting. Has left the meeting. A participant 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 has left the meeting.
Elaine Beckett.
Has meeting.